Welcome to the Philippine Info Channel.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate the support. This is Rich in the Philippines. Today, I'm going to go into virgin territory and talk about something that I swore I wouldn't talk about and that I've seen maybe 1,000 different blogs on it and vlogs, but I figured I would give my take and talk about my reasons. When I first decided to come here, I hadn't picked the Philippines at first. I had looked at Mexico and did a lot of research on Mexico. And a lot of my friends wanted me to go to Mexico because it was so close to the United States, depending on where you go in Mexico. Certain areas were, literally like 3-4 hour car drive and a 1 or 2 hour plane drive to whether it's the West Coast or the Midwest. However, as I dug into going to Mexico, there was just so many things that I didn't feel comfortable with. The government didn't seem to like us, and I get it. And their visa process was every year it kept going up and up and up. And I really don't want to go someplace where, as a rule, where I'm not really wanted, welcomed, or feel good about. So from Mexico, I went and looked at South America, Panama, Puerto Rico. I looked at a ton of different countries, and I kept coming back to the Philippines for multiple reasons. The visa process was it seemed super easy, and it mostly is super easy. We have some great contacts on that. The visa process, the number of islands, the culture, the people seem to be friendly. And I mean, from all the writings and from all the blogs and vlogs, it seemed to be a place where we were welcome. And then, of course, the cost of living. The cost of living in the Philippines is so affordable that how can you, not go with it? At least that was my opinion. And then I started to look at all the blogs and vlogs on dating. And there were so many of them where, guys met the girl of their dream and they came over here. She met them at the airport with the family, and he was never heard from again. I'm only slightly joking. However, you've seen those blogs too. And one of them, one or two of them, one in particular was really interesting. It was during the pandemic, and this guy got married during the pandemic online, and they allowed him to travel here. And it was really interesting, and it seemed really genuine. And of course, sad to say now, they don't look like they're together, which is interesting also. So what I decided to do was I discovered some of the better dating sites as I'm making my process to come here. I decided, what the heck, I'll check them out. And I went on one site in particular. No, it was, and I'll tell you the name. It was Filipino Cupid, and lo and behold, who knew that middle-aged or older guys were so much in demand? It was so overwhelming that within let's say 2 days, I had to stop. There were so many people, so many contacts wanted to contact me that I'm just like, I don't have time to do this now. I'm working on, because I was working on selling my car. I was working on burning my boats. And it's so funny. And I want to tell you, I just did a video on driving your motorcycle at night here and had some pushback from some people. I don't know if pushback, but certainly their opinion. And their opinion was that it's dangerous. Don't do it. And I get that. And I even said that on the site. I'm like, if you think it's dangerous and you don't want to do it, don't do it. With that being said, those are some of the same things that I heard about coming to the Philippines. It's dangerous. Don't do it. One of my best friends on the West Coast sent me, video after video about Filipinas killing their boyfriends. And I had to remind him, I'm like, dude, that could be Alabama. That could be Texas. That could be California. That could be anywhere. If you get the wrong hookup, it could go very wrong. The point I'm making about that is that no matter what you do, if it's different, if it's brave, if it's dangerous, you're going to have people say, don't do it. And I had many people tell me not to come here. I had many people say, why are you going to a dating site? It's nothing but scammers. My favorite way to say that, scammers. So take two on the website. And I went to the website and the second time, and I laid a little more boundaries. I laid a little more in my mind of what the priorities were, because I wasn't coming here, and I'm going to repeat this from the line up above. I wasn't coming here looking for love. I was coming here with love to find love, to give love. I mean, I know it sounds all hippie-ish, but I wasn't coming here for any one particular person, I wasn't coming here for a fairy book tale ending, because it just doesn't happen like that. I'd been married before, I'd been divorced before, and things don't happen like that. And as always, your feedback is welcome. So the second time around, once I set the boundaries up on the website, it was much, much better. I ended up narrowing down what I was looking for, and how I was going to look for it. And I found a couple of really, really nice people. And I narrowed it down really out of hundreds to two people. And it was really interesting. And I'll tell you, I swore I wasn't going to share this with the world. They both had jobs. They both were age appropriate-ish. Both of them were older in life. And both had older kids. And so I ended up connecting more with one than I did the other, which is good. So we became friends first. And we had a little friction at first because she came off, and we talk about it, we laugh about it. She came off really, really rigid in what she wanted. She was like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Don't ask me, and I'm like, hey, I didn't say anything about that. So don't go there with me. I understood as I went through the process that, as we're inundated, they're inundated, with Richard picks and with guys wanting to have shows with them. And I could never quite understand that with the internet, but that's a whole other issue. So we stayed in contact for, the whole time. And what's funny about the people who I ended up talking to the most and the person that I ended up picking is that she never asked for money. And then never. And then at 6 or 7 months during my process of selling my house and burning my boat and all this and leaving my job, getting everything set up, the bank set up and all that kind of stuff. One weekend I asked her what she was doing that weekend. She goes, we're having a fundraiser for a young man who needs a wheelchair. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I said, what does that look like in the Philippines? And she said, here's what we're doing. Here's how we're doing it. They're doing raffle tickets, I think, which is not unusual, kind of like America, really. I said, well, what does a wheelchair cost in the Philippines? And she told me, and you guys, I was flabbergasted at how cheap, how affordable it was. I'm like, I'm in. She's like, no, you're not. I said, yeah, I'm in. I want to be a part of that. She goes, you can make me anonymous. You can make it your gift. I don't care. She's like, why are you doing this? And I said, look, we've been talking for months and, we've had long talks and we did like the typical Filipino, the long distance relay LDR, where we said good morning, said good night, all that different time zone kind of stuff. Excuse me. And so we ended up, she ended up sending me a certificate. She ended up sending me a picture of the chair. She ended up sending me a picture of the boy in the chair, the picture of her, waving. It was just, it was kind of sweet. And I felt honored to be a part of it. So my point is that I would hear all these stories about scammers. And I met a few in the beginning of my internet dating. Women who wanted, I put this in another video. There was a girl whose grandmother was in the hospital, grandmother was dead, and the hospital wouldn't release her body. And I've since discovered from Steve and other people that does happen. I had just never heard of it. And she wanted, 30,000 pesos. And there was another girl who wanted me to send her money to have her teeth pulled or have her molar pulled. And these are by people who I don't know, I've never met. And so, no, I'm not going to do that. So getting back to the main reason of what this video is called, I made it really clear at the beginning when I started talking to my girlfriend. I can't say my friend because that pisses her off. I made it really clear that I was coming to the Philippines for a new life. I wasn't coming there to chase skirt. I wasn't coming there to be a player. I was coming here for a new life. And I think that it might have bothered her, hurt her feelings that I said that, but I was being honest. And I'm still honest about it, that, that I see guys that, and so a lot of these blogs are true. I've seen guys that have sent $20,000, $30,000 over here. This one guy I met, he kept sending this girl money, and she was literally, she looked like she was in her teens, but she was probably in her early 20s, and he was 50 or over. I mean, he was sending her money for her to buy her dog and for her mom. And I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of guys who send money they think they're sending it to their girlfriend, and it ends up going to the family. And I've been lucky that hasn't happened to me, and that, and I have one friend who was giving his girlfriend an allowance. That's what it was, giving her an allowance, and he discovered that her family was like waiting in line, for the pesos, and so she ended up not having money that he sent her, which I think is just crazy. However, I have said this for the 100th time: you do you, I'll do me, and if you feel comfortable and if you want to do that, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. It's your life. It's your money. This is your chapter of your life. And with that being said, I did not come here. I hear this from a lot of my expat friends. I didn't come here really to retire. The people who I know in America who've retired have died like a year later or 2 years later, when they didn't have a mission, when they didn't have something in their head that, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, it's what I'm going to live for, whether it's photography, whether it's like Gary building homes, whether it's like working at, owning a business with a Filipina. If you don't have something planned, whether it's America or here, I think that you're not long for the system, and especially if you don't stay active. So when I say don't come here for love, I mean, you could do whatever you want. And I think that the successful expats did not come here for love. They came here with love and found love, and it all worked out good. I mean, I'm going on 2 years, and I've had ups and downs with my relationship, and we still do, because it's a relationship. I just did one on Tampo, and Tampo's a real thing. However, I think that whatever you want to call it in America, it's a real thing too. It's just a relationship, and you have to tend it like a garden, or it's going to get full of weeds. And that's my feeling on it. So what I will tell you, and I will tell anybody, don't come here, and meet her at the airport, have her family suck you into the vortex, and where you're never heard from again, you and your checkbook. And I know that sounds pessimistic, and I don't mean it to sound that way, but I do mean it to sound cautionary. If you come here with other ideas of what you're going to do here, you'll be much happier. And that's my opinion. I'd be real interested in your opinion. I have plenty of my expats that I'm friends with now. They have all long-term relationships, and they work through ups and downs. And that's what you have to do, whether it's here or there. And you're going to have these ups and downs. So if you come here with that kind of attitude, there's a good chance you'll be successful. And this has been Rich in the Philippines. Thanks for watching.